And I grew up in a coaching family. My old man was a long-time ball coach, and so from an early age, the relationship that I learned about the coaching profession begins and ends with us in this room. And the biggest thing that I learned is the ability to learn to grow with all the people that you're with professionally. And so at a young age, I got in a position where I knew when I was very young that it was something that I wanted to do, and the specifics, and particularly in the offensive line, the nuances of the position, learning the position, is what I grew up and became and played. And it's something that I said I want to focus all my energies on learning and coaching this and finding out as much information as I can. Along the way, one thing I did is I talked to as many people as I can, and I still do, because the process, the longer you coach, the less you find out you know, and the more things that you find that you've got to continue to learn and to grow. And so along the way, if there's a training camp I could go to, the same thing that you guys have done, I'd get my ass to a training camp. All right? If there was a coach on the road that I could talk to or visiting my place, I'd grab him, talk to him, and find out what he knew and how he could help me. I had my eyes open last night and today by punch. The whole area of punch, he has taken to a refined level and taken that a whole area where what I'm constantly doing is looking at what I'm doing, reanalyzing what I'm doing, and looking for better ways to do it. I also want you to know almost every idea I have, I don't really consider myself having original ideas. I'm a plagiarizer, which means if I see somebody do it, I can take his idea and I'm trying to incorporate it into what I know. So when you hear what we did and drills we've done, a lot of them come from men that you're going to hear later on in this clinic. And I think you're going to hear, as you continue the rest of the afternoon, some of really the great line coaches. And I'm proud of being a mushroom, proud of being the association of people like Wiles, who's, like I said, works his ass off and does a hell of a job. This afternoon you hear Mike Mazur, who's done a great job at Jacksonville and taking that line to a high level, as well as Beck comes in this afternoon, and McNally and Howard Mudd. Like I said, I spent a lot of time talking to those men because I have tremendous respect, and as a plagiarizer, I've stolen. You're not going to hear original ideas, you're going to hear ideas that really are built over years and kind of ground as I've grown and improved. Now, where I'm going to start, the first area I'm going to start is I'm going to go into drills. That's number one, pass pro drills. Okay, I'm going to take a little sequencing off and kind of hit you on some of our basic nickel runs, and then I'll finish up with some basic pass protection schemes in the nickel area. That's kind of what we'll be focusing on today. All right? Okay, to start off with, where I want to start is in basically the fundamentals of pass protection, where we're beginning and ending, because I think every drill that you do should really be based upon your fundamentals, how you're trying to teach, and then all your positioning of your drills are built into the things that you're talking on an everyday basis with your football players. There's four basic elements of pass pro that we're trying to get across. Number one is the set, the basic mechanics of the pass set. Okay. Number two is the punch. And like I said, you had a very detailed explanation of how you use your hands, placement of my hands, how I'm trying to get in the body position on top of the defender, how I'm trying to make contact, how I'm trying to take his space away, how I'm trying to make contact. Number three is the mirror aspect, the aspect of the mirroring or the shadowing effect. However you move your feet, however you get your body in position, is the ability when he makes a move to counter that move, but also to bring your feet with your body, that you basically stay in the line. And the fourth area is what we call recovery. Is now you're out of balance, somebody's got you in a poor position, and you've got to do something that goes beyond the basic ability to mirror or stay in front of them. However you move your feet, however you move your hands, that I'm going to end up bringing myself to a right position, or else running past the quarterback or running back in. Okay? It begins right here with a pass set in terms of the elements of the positioning of the body, how your body maintains the joints, how your body maintains the angles of the mechanics. We are big on what I call body mechanics and body angles. Really, it all begins with weightlifting. The ability to sink your ass down, the ability to keep your back straight, the ability to be a knee bender, your head back over the balls of your feet, and the ability on quickness, on speed from the three-point position. We start from the hardest drill. When you get in a nickel, a lot of times you'll see it's basically up. But we start from the hardest position, is from a down three-point position to a set. How fast can you do that? How fast can you get yourself to a right position? How fast can you get your shoulders and hands and head into a set position with a balanced position? And that's based on your set. It's really based upon the alignment of the defender. Every time that defender widens out on you, it forces your feet to move a little bit farther to get a little more of a widening effect, so that I want to stay frontal, and the term we use in our pass set is buy him. We want to buy him at the line of scrimmage. We're going to get both hands on us, be as physical as we can, and like I said, all the things Tunch was talking about, we believe in terms of the mechanics of the punch, physicalness, that we're going to make it stand as close to the line of scrimmage as we can. Okay? We're trying to basically stay square to the line of scrimmage. We want an initial stand like I said, as close to the line of scrimmage as we can. Now, that's going to dictate a lot by the position of the defender, how wide he is. I love to block your ass right at the line of scrimmage, but if you move too damn wide on me, I go too flat, I'm going to lose my angle. I'm going to lose my leverage, and it's going to turn my camera or my ass to the sideline, which I never want to do. I'm trying basically to stay as square to the line of scrimmage as I can. Okay? Now, what I want to do is always keep my feet alive. I want to keep my feet in a position we call kick slide. We talk about the position of power step. Those things are very long-term terms that I learned, like I said, a long time ago. Wampler and Mack and some of those guys, and I've incorporated that, and that has to do with the body weight and my weight on the inside leg as I step. Now, one thing that's important to me here, and it takes a lot of emphasis to me, is the term egg beat, or I use a term pee-pee steps. The feet are chatty Cathy, going too fast, too quick. What I lose is functional strength of my body. So what I'm trying to do is, with my weight on my inside leg, that I've always got power generated from my ass, and my mechanics of my hips are down low. So as I get in the position here, I can generate power with my feet. And my feet are really, it was interesting here in Tunch, because a lot of those things are things we believe in. I want my feet on the ground when I make contact with the defender. If the feet are ever off the ground or caught in between, then functional strength is out the window. Same thing if your feet are nervous or egg beat too fast. If he bowls, all you'd have to do is pick your feet up rapid fire too quick. His ability to bowl, knock your ass back to the quarterback is great, is to a great degree. And the other thing too with the feet is as keeping your heels down in general. That's another thing we would encourage our players is, if you get high-toed, your ability to functional strength and stop the defender becomes very limited. When I keep contact with my heels, even though the weight's still on the balls of the feet, so it isn't like my weight's rolled into my ass or my heels, it's still on the balls of my feet, but the ability to keep my feet flat gives me more functional strength, because the whole thing I'm trying to do is to buy him and attack him as tight to line of scrimmage. And there's word patience. A lot of that involves what you do with your head, your mechanics of your punch, that you don't get out of control, and that's where the patience involved, and also the widening effect of the defender. When he goes wide, you get so intent on trying to punch the piss out close to the line of scrimmage that you get an overextension effect. Overextension is still a bad word. Okay, we want to make sure any inside fakes, any inside movements, we are making sure we never get beat to the inside. So that's still mechanically in our thinking. Okay, now, eyes properly on the target of the defender. I can tell you this, one of the worst habits that young players have is they lose a minute focus. And I remember the guy that did a great job of explaining to me, Howard, when I talked, the ability to see a very small target, a very small aiming point, the number, a portion of the number, 2 inches inside on the edge of the number. Okay, now what happens is a lot of times players, and if you just stand to the opposite side and you look at their eye contact, what they're doing is they're seeing a big target. What they're doing is, they listen to Tunch, I see small target, and I have peripheral vision to the rest of it, to that square, that box he was looking at. What you look at young players, you stand the opposite side, and I'll look beyond, I'll look at your shoulders to your head, because there's more extraneous motion occurring with my upper body than it is really with my numbers. I want to be patient in terms of always seeing the target and looking at the target. And also just something simple, keeping your eyes big. Because what happens a lot of times is you watch it, it's amazing the number of guys that get a flinching effect, or when they punch, they end up losing sight and getting leverage. So a lot of times just keeping your eyes big, and you can do things, we used to do things flinch drill in the off season, still do, where you can get the eyes just keeping them big that they don't lose sight of the target defender. Stay coiled. Better to give ground. All these are mixed in with those 4 basic fundamentals. This involves mirror and also recovery. When he gets to a position that he's beyond my cylinder, he's outside of my framework. Even though I said, buy him at the line of scrimmage, you want to attack his ass at the line of scrimmage. When he gets here, it is better to lose some ground, in our opinion, lose back, and then reestablish the buy to the firm position, rather than saying arbitrarily, I'm going to knock your ass right here and hold your position. Because if it gets into swinging my ass, or giving my ground to get vertically on top and establish that frontal position, we want to be frontal as much as we can. Okay? Okay, again, regain your position. Very important here. Stick. And what that means is really pass pros physical. What you want to do is take it out of the context that it is a retreat type blocking, it's give off ground, all those type of things. Never get beat to the inside. And some of this, what's happening is, and we're a big slide team. And given the fact that we're slide, is really what's happening is that's based upon more of a drop back man type principle, base type principle. You never want to give edge to the inside. A lot of protection, when you start going slide, you start working half a man to the outside, and it becomes very specific. Really, you're talking to a one-on-one drill, which is you start analyzing your percentage of man protections. I'm talking about base pickups or slide protections, and they're really 2 fundamental different deals. Okay, never overset the outside. Fake, keep poise when you break down. I think what Touch, I think you alluded to in there a little bit, is what happens again with players when you begin, when you get your ass beat once or twice in pass pro, you get a little shaky, and all of a sudden you start losing your fundamentals, your ability for a player to balance himself back up, to right himself when he's off groove, to figure out when he's made a mistake, a recurring mistake, and that's where they'll kind of kick our ass in our league. Is once they figure out what you're susceptible to, the bull or the rip or club or head fake, unfortunately they keep on giving it to you like a curveball. They're going to keep on giving you what you have to do. What the veteran player learns is he learns to right himself back up. He learns to correct himself in a one-on-one drill. What the younger player does, he falls all hell to pieces, and he can't rectify, figure out. That's what takes the time, that's what takes the experience. Okay, now moving over to the techniques by position. And again, I talked about the setup, and that's the ability to come to a position. All we want to do is maintain a frontal position. I'm used to always taking a step, and very simply, my feet use near step. That's about as simple as I can. So I never want my body coming across, my offside foot coming across to where I end up with a crossover effect. Again, I'm talking of protection now. If I'm talking about a basic protection, like a 7-man pickup, basically we're going to step with a frontal position, a head-up 2 shade, is I'm going to step with an inside step with my feet. Okay, now if he's an outside shade, shoulder shade or wider, I'm going to step with a near foot to the side of the direction. Begin my kick slide based upon the width of the technique and how far that he's coming across. All I really want to do, in fact, I think it was Rad used the one where if I didn't have to move my feet, don't move my feet. And there's really merit to that. The only reason we do is we like the feeling of power on contact. So I time my punch and my jam with my foot when I put it on the ground. But if I had a frontal position and could just pick my hand up, if I have what I want, by my number shade, by my target on the defender, I do it right now. I do it every time. Okay, the mirror drill. And we've got several different ways of doing the mirror drill. And again, as we mirror, we're talking about the ability to keep my weight on a certain leg, to shadow the defender. We'll do them. We've got sequencing, and you'll see these coming up later. When you start off, you can do them hands behind your back, just as a mirror. Okay, and these are all drills. It's the ability to shadow the defender. Target, small target, number, avoid the shaking of the shoulders. You're kind of mixing a little bit. You're going to hear the punch because a lot of times what you get is shaking effects. And what we'll do is we'll mirror defender and fight strength. If he ever shakes in tight quarters, in particular as a guard, we will try and break the rhythm with a little punch to regather ourselves, to take his rhythm away, keep us on rhythm. Okay, another way of saying when we mirror is we don't, there's a Arthur Murray dance studio in California. We don't dance his dance. We try and dance our own dance when we're rhythming and stay on our rhythm, not his rhythm. And so what happens when you mirror is the offensive guy has a tendency, if you're not careful, to just cha-cha his cha-cha. And as I do that, he's able to pull my weight the wrong direction, the body mechanics. Really what I want to do is do my own deal. And then wherever he's in quarters, I'm going to use my hands as punch mechanisms to kind of track him off balance, while again I work my feet, body mechanics, arch in the back, head back, neck bridge, which is real important. A lot of times you watch players, Punch talked about getting tired like this. One of the biggest areas they get tired is down here in the quad strength, lower back, and the head. And the longer they go, the more they'll waist bend, head forward, and be overextended. A lot of times, you can see it from their stance. You can see it right from their stance. Begins with their stance. When the weight gets tired, their head goes down. They end up arched back. They end up slowing their pass set. The mechanics of the pass set, they end up being overextended, not a control. Okay? And here, moving down over here, is a little area that's very important. All right? We're not hoppers, we're kick sliders. We're always trying to keep our both feet on contact. And sometimes it could look like it's almost close to me. See my action? It's a two-step in recovery in terms of how I kick slide and get over there. We're trying to keep our feet on the ground as close as we can. Okay, we've got a power leg, post foot, which is weight on the inside. And actually the rhythm, a lot of times you teach them to do this. But the mechanism on a wide rusher should be quick enough where they're moving simultaneous, where it isn't like it's boom, 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 boom. You teach them slow, the rhythm of the feet and the weight inside. But the actual action on the wider technique, when my feet got to move, my feet move as fast as the defender forces me to move my feet. So if he's running a wide angle, or let's say we have a fan scheme with a guard and tackle on the D end and an outside backer, when I move, my feet are going to have to move as fast as he is, which is damn fast. Okay? All right, now the punch, and like I said, he's done a great job of talking about the punch. We keep our thumbs together when we hit. Okay, we want our thumbs in, we want our elbows in, we want our shoulders back. We punch into mechanisms like this. We would be about a 4 to 6 inch puncher and striker. I want my weight to the side of the defender as he comes, whichever way he's weaving. We'll do, you see some drills work laterally. That's all we're doing, is timing my punch with my feet as I hit on the ground. And one thing to continue, Touch had an interesting word in there. He talked about hyperextending my elbows. And there's a point we talk about trying to get full extension of the arms, but you know what? They're probably about an inch or two short of full lockout because, and I use the term Frankenstein. What happens if you get your arms, that term hyperextended, what it has a tendency to do is rotate my head and shoulders at the end a little forward, which creates that overextending effect. So what we really want to do is we punch, we talk about tricep strength right here as we jam, and as we do, we're slightly off the bend line. And that's where I can keep my power. Now the other reason we do it is we describe our arms like shock absorbers, okay? Or, like a door jam, how it comes back like this with the constant pressure. And the point is, if you get your arms fully locked out, to me, to do the wedge or the trap, like what Tench was talking, is going to be real hard because I'm already involving my head. So by having my arms and my elbows slightly off the pure straight hyperextended position, that lets me snap them in, break an arm, whatever I have to do a hand replacement drill. Okay? Okay, and the last element The last element is recovery, is in terms of that ability to bring yourself back into a right position and kind of come to balance is a good way to describe it. Okay, now the tackles, I'm going to describe this very simply. All we're doing, and I mentioned he was a frontal position on the defender. If he was in a 4, head-up position, I would take a step. I'd look just like a guard does. If he's in a 5, a tight 5, we would take a near step, and I would step inside number of targets, and I'd balance up my feet. There's a little thing back to that near step position. There's a little thing, when do I go near foot, or when do I protect the hole, the inside move, and step inside? It really has to do how good and fast I am, and how quick and flat he can come inside. So it becomes for us, when in doubt, we're trying to go near step every time we can. But if he has the ability, he's quicker than I am, and I'm a little slew-footed and slower, is I might, on a slight outside shade, get to a position where I'll jam the foot in the ground because I don't want to ever give up the hole. That's where the compromise begins. If I ever create what we call as a bailout effect where my foot comes out. From there, it's really based upon the angle of the defender, how much width he gets, and how far I'm going to kick slide. We actually try and have a game plan, a GP, on the width, whether I take a 2-step set or I come here in 3-step set, and now I'm working at what we call as a 45-degree angle. We're coaching to try and keep his shoulders as square to the line of scrimmage. Now, in actuality, there's a turning effect when I make contact. The problem is with most younger players, to me, we talk too much about getting on top of the defender. What it does is you have ability, they're going to naturally do that anyway. That's going to take care of their techniques. This is the worst. This is cardinal sin when I turn my shoulders to the sideline. So what we're doing is working a 45-degree angle. We always want our feet in contact. I'm favoring the inside number. Again, I'm talking about a man protection, not a slide, and we've got to say help by the inside guard, center guard coming to me. Okay? And then I'm playing a game with the position of my hands. How tight he is. If he moves into a bull position on me, a frontal, then I'm going to use a 2-arm hand bench press, and I'm going to hold my leverage and anchor down. And you're going to see some drills we call a push-pull anchor drill. A lot of people in the league do it, and to me, in terms of leverage, looking strong, powerful on film, that's where it begins. The wider he goes, all I'm going to do is maintain my kick slide, my position, my kick slide, and now you're playing a game with hand position is really what you're doing. You're playing a game with the weight position, that your weight distribution stays inside, so if he comes flat inside, I can abort, power step, come back inside and quit. The key thing is if you tilt your weight too far out, or you overstride, or get any clicking heels effect, what I do is turn my shoulders in my ability to recover, right myself up. I'm off balance, I'm out of line with my mechanics of my body. I'm always trying to keep basically my feet underneath my armpits and keeping balance again in my mechanics. And we call it a Purdy rule. What we're trying to do to us, football players should look balanced, controlled, powerful, and in good mechanics when they hit, under control. Okay? End zone film to us is like confession. You're bearing your soul. So what you see is, even though a guy, we have GMG, which is blocking your guy, but the key thing is that you have a Purdy rule when you come on film that you look mechanically balanced and you're showing the celluloid around the film, the league, that you're under control, that your feet never jump the midline. That's where the recovery aspect moves in. Okay? We've talked about the mirror, okay, in the relative position, okay, and then we talked about the recovery. Now, what I encourage you all to do, what we try and do, is we'll come up with a little drill sheet, like everyday things. And we'll do this, especially for the younger players, is things that you can take down, and they're not in particular order that you're going to see right now, but you can do certain mechanics, like Punch was talking about the punch drills. I mean, hell, you just spend, an hour and a half just doing all the hand drills, hand mechanics. You can go as detailed as you can based on your time allotment and how much time you have. You can stagger these. Like if we're working 4 days a week, we might do, 2 days heavy hands. We might do more mirror drills. We might focus on the run. So we'll kind of orient that, kind of change that, and revamp it based upon things we're doing. Okay, and again, in the sequencing, the first one I'm going to step over here, push-pull drill, and you're going to see this on film. And if I had like one little thing we're looking for football players is if you're flexible in your hips, if you have the ability to keep your back straight, if you have the ability to sink down in this position, you've got a chance based upon work ethic. Work ethic is probably one. Intangibles, I'm talking about how you lift, how you prepare, how you punch. All those things can take pressure off your lower body. But the body mechanics of how you get yourself into as a football player really are critical in terms of kick sliding. Okay, we'll do things, just feeling mechanics. A lot of times when you push on somebody, what they have a tendency to do is to just immediately give off ground, to give off pressure and give off ground. What we're trying to do is we're trying to fight pressure. When you push on us, we're trying to resist back. We're trying to give ground grudgingly. And when I sit, as you push on me, I want to get the effect of resetting my feet and also keeping my ass down. Because the tendency is, when you push on young players and they push, what they want to do is they extend their legs and they lose their lower body leverage. And you really, as mechanically, never want your feet that long off the ground. What you want, whether people teach hop and we step back, you want an action of a recoil and a reset with my feet. But when he pushes on me, I want to get a sinking effect. I'll lower my ass and my hips, arch in the back, it's hurting like hell, and reset. Now I'll give you this. When I was in high school getting recruited, Bob McKittrick was at UCLA at the time, he was a great line coach of the 49ers. He did a drill skiers exercise. You talk about how fundamentals of the game really don't change. Back against the wall, ass down, 45-degree angle. You put your knees straight ahead. I'm talking about we were down to almost a parallel position. You held it for 3 minutes, 5 minutes. I just take all your young linemen and do that with them, and you'll find the first thing you're going to do is shaking the quads. That's one of the things, hell, I started doing that every day. You know, as much as I could, I had no ass. Some guys, you know, if you're not big, that's just the way you are. But down here, they'll feel it right away. Their ability to stay in that position, they're going to come back, oh man, that's going to hurt down here in all their lower extremities. But that's really where the power is. Now, when you pull on me, what you want to do is we want them to resist. So if I'm pulling this way, I am neck bridging up, arching my back, and keeping my weight in my ass, trying to look up. Now, the tendency is a lot of times they go forward and they lose their mechanics. Now, you start as slow as you have to do to teach the drill. You start walking the hand just so they feel it. What you do with a lot of younger players when we start is they egg beat their feet. Their feet are going, they're whipping them, and they have a rapid fire piston, but they have no functional strength. You can't stop the ball. The problem is I have no power on the point of contact. So the whole idea is that you're trying to get them to keep their fulcrum down, their power in their ass and their lowers. And then as I go, I have the ability to reset, he strains, trying to keep my body weights and mechanics all back in my ass, all my power back in my ass as I go. And we'll do those, like I said, we'll do them, again, walking them, pushing slow, grabbing the head, shoving them, getting to a body position where you can feel power, generating strength on contact with really a kick slide principle. See it? It all gets back to your fundamentals of how you're teaching your pass pro and your basic technique. And then we'll do it active. That's what I have in these drills that you'll see in a little bit. Okay, now, kick slides. To me, let's say you're teaching about the quarterback. Everybody ever heard talk about the quarterback? They talk about how fast does he go to point A, point B, and the mechanics position of his feet. Okay, now, that same thing with a lineman. He's got to learn. He needs 1,000 reps just working his feet. Whatever that drill is, he can do them. We do them on about a 5-yard angle, and we'll do sets of how many ever we're doing that day. 5 in a row. Boom, boom, boom. Kick slide, kick slide, kick slide, kick slide. That's as fast as we can. And you will see, as they get tired, they come back, the inside leg too long. See the position across my body? I want the foot coming at a 45 degree. One of the best explanations I ever had about the angle of the 45 degree as I come is Jerry Wampler, great line coach, a bunch of different teams, and he described it as a shot putter, how he goes in his angle. And what a shot putter does is all my weight is on this inside leg, and what I'm really doing is popping that leg right there with an effect, because the tendency that most players have, it's the second step that gets you in problem. Most of the time you can get the first step in a good position. But what they do is on a wider rusher, and again I'm talking more tackles here, is they have a tendency to cross their body with the second step, to come too flat in the cross and pull my weight over. They lose sight of the fact, especially it could even be, let's say it's like a ghost 9 position here, okay? It's a ghost 9, it could be, first 2 could be done, good. Then the second 2, the tendency is, I want to front up the defender, I want to pull my leg across my body. It is a hard idea, playing-wise, especially on the left tackle, when you're talking about the speed rushers, to keep this leg in line. And so, this action, a lot of times learning-wise, I would grab this hip and actually pull the ass back in this position. I'll take my hand in his back to maintain the mechanics that I stay on that angle where I'm basically as frontal on the defender as I can. Okay? We'll do this down the line. We'll do a just flat lateral. And again, we're just working, it's all they are foot drills as I go. Working back and forth as I go. Okay? It begins the incorporation of the mirror drill, just in terms of recovery. But you just go like in a 5-yard box, go lateral, another set, 5 sets in a row. Then switch direction, now you're power stepping or post stepping in the line. Teaching young linemen how to move their feet, how to stay in balance when they get tired, keeping your ass down, keeping your legs underneath you, that you're generating power, that your feet are controlled, and your feet are basically all under your knees, under your armpits in position. Okay? Now, moving ahead, mirror drill. Okay, now, mirror drill, whatever that is, when he's moving and you're trying to stay with him, that's what we call mirror drill. It's a shadowing effect. When we start, we'll start with the hands behind the back, just to teach the sequencing of the feet, the rhythm of the feet. It's a great drill if you find your legs, the feet are chattering, too nervous. When he moves, you'll never catch up. You'll always be hopping. You'll always be a step behind with your body mechanics. We stay in front of the cones and into his chest, because if you drift back, or sometimes we used to do it right lateral with the cones, and the problem is they have a drifting effect where they don't stay in his numbers. We want to be able to basically, if I had my hands extended, touch the numbers. We'll move as physical as the drill becomes. They can work them lateral. We'll work them lateral for the lateral movement. Sometimes you want to make it competitive off season. You can have a little. You can score it. You can widen out, and then the kid keeps going, trying to score around the corner with a juke move and get back inside the cone and start over again with the balance. Which, in a certain way, if the guy gets off balance, you teach a little bit of the beginnings of recoverability, where the guy comes back to balance and position. Okay, then you'll involve the hands, and we'll make it combatant. We'll go pretty hard as the guy works. We'll be punching. When you get pads on, you can be doing all the things, incorporating what Tunch was talking about with the center line and the positional mechanics, and my hands in the center of your body. That's why eventually they overlap with the punch, okay, with the recoverability, with my mirror, but they're incorporated all in foot line drills. Okay, finally at the end is you'll see an area where it says mirror pass set on a 45 degree. So now what we've done is taken it one step further, and really what happens is you take, I don't care if it's a guard or tackle. Okay, you got a cone, and you got a cone. How wide you put the cone? Now the kid's working that kick slide, that 45 degree angle, as he's kick slide and kick slide. We'll put a guy, it's a one-shot shoot your wad mirror drill is what it is. So at this time, he's got one little ditty, basically, to go for the far cone, and now you're hustling your ass off to stay mechanically aligned, and also with my feet quick enough that I'm moving as fast as the defender. Okay? We'll let him give it a quick up and under move. So right now, quick move. So we'll check his weight distribution, that there's nothing leaning to the outside, that there's nothing leaning outside where I can get pulled outside. Because a lot of times, especially you put them on a shoulder shade, they have a tendency to overstep and turn my shoulder. See, as I'm rotating my offside arm across my body, and that's going to give him the ability to beat me right now inside. We'll let him give like a little hesitation move, a little head fake move, and then work back inside rep or upfield. A one shot, trying really all we're doing is a pass rush drill in tight quarters and basically a mirror sequencing drill. When they kick slide, this is back on the kick slide, we'll do one you'll see on the thing, where actually kind of hit the outside shoulder, just making sure that they're not pulling any weight on the outside leg and bringing my weight across the body. Because you can feel it. You can actually, the nice thing on some of these things, as you're seeing the push-pull drill, if he doesn't have any functional strength, as you're pressing on him, you can actually feel that. You can feel a player, the feet are so nervous, there is no power. All defensive players do is they really, outside of they have initial game plan, they know what your weaknesses are. Okay? Now, with that, when you kind of talk about counters, all they do is they feel your pressure, they're feeling your surface, your target, and they're coming instinctively with secondary move. If you move your feet to a rapid degree that I have no functional strength, they'll just recreate the bolt. They'll go right back into what Tunch was saying, where if I give a target, they'll bore in, and if you don't have your whole body mechanics, beginning with the beginning technique, all based and incorporated in the mirror, your basic movement structure, they'll be able to knock you out of balance right now. Okay, we use a heavy bag, and this is more off-season, okay? And heavy bag is one of those things, we got it from Gilman, and it's just a weighted bag, they're 50 pounds, and we'll do the same things on a 45-degree angle, kick sliding. We'll do the same thing, working down the line, the lateral, with the heavy bags. We'll use a basically recoverability drill with your kick sliding here with a heavy bag. We'll stop, abort, we can come back in and create the power step. You can do that in as many different ways, but keeping power in your arms and not loose. The number of players, I'm including the NFL, that when you feel what they're doing with their hands, they're not doing much. There's no power as I hit or generate. I'm really getting very little contact point with my hands on the defender that's causing him to distort his charge, stop his charge, and prevent him from getting upfield on me. Okay, and then we do a lot of things on shields. These are your basic set drills, and those are repetitive in terms of the basic mechanics of what you're doing with your feet. And again, I would encourage you, this is something every daggone new job I have, which seems like it's about every 2 years, I end up doing one of these, coming up with an off-season sequencing, and then basically they're everyday drills. That's all we're about, man. Is I know as a player lifting weights, what you do is you get a feeling the more you gobble it up, the stronger you get. The more you gobble the technique and you do it, the better you get. And you have a basic set of sequencing, and maybe because of the number in season, you got to work around how much time you have and when you incorporate that. But your ability to not lose your fundamentals in season is as big a problem for us as I'm sure it is for you guys. Now, you got the problem. We got them at least for a few more years. But I'm telling you, man, that whole thing of how you basically structure your individual technique and teaching time so it's an everyday occurrence and you're never losing the aspect of fundamentals is critical. Absolutely critical. Okay, and then the first drill that I'm going to add in over here is what we call the push-pull technique. And again, I already hit them to you. You want to if you're using your arms, you're going to use a locked out position with your arms. Okay, you want to push back to the side that the defender is pushing to. Okay, when he pulls on you, you basically want to sink your ass down. You don't want to stand tall. You want to fight pressure. And like I said, there's a lot to be learned. I love seeing when we go on the road and we're college players. I love seeing that. Because to me, you can see a lot about lower body strength. And it isn't, a lot of times what you got to separate is, he might not be strong right now. So he might not feel that really functionally strong. But if he can mechanically get in that position where he sinks his ass down, where he can keep his back straight, where he has that term anchorability, lower body flexibility. If a kid has the intangibles, which I'm talking intangibles, work ethic, the due diligence, the weightlifting, that's the one area that we can correct immediately. What's hard to eliminate is if a guy has stiffness, lower body tightness, and they're all joint related. You can't just say, let's say a guy's flexible in the hamstrings, you say, well, he's got good flexibility. Some guys are good there, but they're tight in the groins. Some guys are tight in the ankles. They just can't maintain this position down here, down low in the ankles. But when you see a guy that can break his hips down, maintain that relative position, then you got a chance, in our opinion, to find a good football player. Okay, what I want to do is go into the drills right now, and they're kind of all a little bit out of order. So, somebody want to light me? Light camera action me? Excuse me, man. I got the pointer back over here. Ready, good to go. Okay, this is a demonstration of that anchor drill that I was talking about, and this would be advanced. When we start off, we're simple as excuse me. When we start off, we're simple as just shoving on the shoulder. Just shoving the shoulder and feeling the body weight. The more advanced we get, we'll look like this. We're actually physically pushing them heavy. I like to do it some from the standpoint of you can feel the weight distribution. You can feel that they're giving off their body mechanics too easy, particularly with the lower body. Okay, we're trying to keep our back as straight as we can. My shoulder's a little more upright than we are. This is a kid named Jeff Kaiser from Arizona State. We're trying to get a shuffling effect. Sometimes Jeff will get his knees a little bit out. We never want the knees out. We always want them slightly inside the framework of the body. We want to keep neck bridge, keep arching my head back as I move. I would like an effect where I walk my feet rather than shatter. See how the one foot bounces, the left foot is bouncing all the time, simultaneous? I would rather hold my position, only move my feet when I have to, and then when he forces me, walk 2 more. Okay, and again, you can see what happens. When they get tired, he has a tendency to stand tall. See what happens? Very natural. One of the first things that happens to all of us is we stand up, we give them our chest, we lose our lower body presence when they bowl. Okay, like that bowl that Tunch was talking about now. All he does is gain leverage, and you can see, and this is a little bit of a chatter effect. I want more knee bend, he's too upright, I want more weight on the inside leg. Okay, again, we're trying to get a little walking effect. Sometimes what they do is cheating on the drills. The feet get real wide. It's one of the ways you learn how to win the drill. They get wider than we want. Really, we're trying to tie body mechanics to feet position. So again, they're getting a little wide. You can see a little bit of hopping. And this is what happens when they get a little full. All we want to do is kick slide or reset, or what we call it, the two-stepper. So we go right-left. Every time I apply pressure as I push, right-left. You're going to see our films a lot of times are not any different than yours, I think. But you're going to see a lot of long stuff. Hopefully, again, these are all beginning of the off-season stuff we're doing at Oakland, but you're going to see a lot of times they're all things that you can work on. Now, right now, you pull on his head, watch what happens. And really what it shows you, they're right before contact, there's a little nervous. See the hop and a little chatter right there? A little bounce. And he really doesn't have a lot of power. His position, the legs are way too wide, out of control, and there comes the head way forward, where I want to neck bridge up. Okay, this is Lincoln Kennedy, a player I had in Atlanta, and he does, to a certain extent, a little hopping action is really what he's doing. So again, when you hop or kick slide, this mechanically is in the position that you want your head. This is basically the back position. You want to get as much flexion. That's the term. What I think you got to be careful of is there's a tendency to Cupid doll every player you have. What you got to remember is we're all individuals. We're all a little bit different. And the problem is, I'd love to have my knees and balls of my feet right underneath my armpits. But you know what? And I've had a lot of line coaches I've talked to about that relative position. Most of the guys in this league aren't flexible enough to do that. They can't maintain that position. Most guys, I've been around, if we did this, and I'm talking about guys who've been to a bunch of Pro Bowls, they'd end up doing this. They'd have their knees out and their waist forward, and they couldn't do that. So the trade-off becomes they'll widen out their feet a little bit more. If they have to, I'll pull my toe out a little bit in my stance, because the key thing is the relative position that my knees stay inside of my balls of my feet, and my armpits. Do I want? No. Would I like to have my feet tighter? Yes. Can he do it? No. So what do we have to do? You got to compensate. You got to do things really a little differently based upon the individual abilities of the player. That to me is one of the things that becomes independent study is what it becomes. What he does, how you can take that player. Let's say you got a guy like that. Okay, hell, we got a bunch of guys playing in our league like that. So I'm sure at different levels that you're at, you've got the same type of guys. You've got to compensate. Let's say he plays a little higher. I'll take a little higher than anything that forces the head forward. So we're going to do some practical things to try and put him in the best position where he can function the best. Usually what happens is he's got to be a great puncher. Okay, again, you can see the relative spacing of his body mechanics. Okay, again, here's another player. We have another player doing it. And again, you can see a little bit. The knees out, knees forward here. The head is coming forward a little bit. Maintaining the position, trying to step, rather than scatter the feet. That little action, see where the feet are kind of nervously sliding, is going to hurt your strength. Sit. You can see it right now. What he wants to do is stand tall every time. He wants to get erect and stand tall. That's true of most linemen. That's a natural instinct that we've had. To fight pressure and fall back or retract my ass or recover my hands is very critical. Very critical. Okay, a little waist bend here. Body mechanics are leaning. Feet are way too wide. Way too wide. Okay, and we'll take one more look. Again, you can see the position. Again, there's a little hop he's been used to. He'll step this way. Neck bridge back. Relative position is good. Balance is good. Now, all these things, like I said, touch, you my eyes to things that we can do much better. But the action of contact and the punching, something that we've always believed in. We're trying to keep our thumbs together. We're trying to keep our elbows tight to our body. We don't want any rotation of our head coming with our shoulders as we strike. We always like to take a little step as I step. See a little balance step. It shouldn't go back. It should just pull it up. When I pull and hides, this kid has a tendency to overlock his elbows, which I use that term Frankenstein, where I'm chasing him and coming forward to keep the shoulders, see the position, relative position, when my head stays back, and I prevent my shoulders or any action of my feet. And again, all I want to do is naturally walk my feet. His shoulders are way too forward. See the shoulders coming forward. The blow should be struck without any upper body coming. Head back. I hope it's recovered. See, all it is just balance. There it is. Balance your head back. You keep the line. Okay? Keep the line. Balance. He has a tendency, he kind of pulls his hand in. Where's one? Let me go one back one here. See little, that to me, see a little retraction of the elbow? No wind-up effect. I'm going to try and get that out of Lincoln where he's got a little tendency. See the elbows pull back? I want to make contact. Anything that pulls my body out of the framework of my defender is making me too slow. It's giving him my chest. He wins. Now I'm going to have to do all that stuff. Hopefully I can get the hands on contact quicker. I describe it if you high pull or snatch, your hands come this way as you lift. That's really what we're trying to do, is we're trying to pull no retraction. As soon as I do this, these guys are so good, they got surface of my pads. They got hand control. They got placement of the chest. And really a lot of the game becomes who wins chest control. And again, you can just see all we're doing is working different positions of the hands. Okay, then all we're doing is I'm kind of weaving those shoulders. See? I'm just trying to teach him the mechanics of sliding your feet and keeping them balanced with it. And again, these are early spring deals, and just see what he's doing. Just get the feet. Now, watch this one, I think. Okay, now, real important to us. That right foot is not really on the ground. The right foot should always beat the hand. The foot should always be on the ground so that I've got strength on contact. If I ever get this effect where I'm between blows, then I lose the functional strength. I'm going to move back and exit my feet real fast. So I really want to, we call it like a marionette puppet. You always want to drive your foot to the ground so that as I hit, I'm always bringing my body, my foot, my weight with my hands and keeping leverage to the side of the hit, to the side of the punch. Okay, again, and all he's doing is we're taking a little balance steps, kick slides, keep your shoulders back. You can also see if there's a little extension, long. Okay. Now just work it down the line. You can build it. You can create a drill any way you want to. Okay. To me, the ability, like I said, to just get the mechanics of the feet down, keeping your weight inside, are critical. Critical. Okay. Again, see what he did was pretty good there. See how the foot plants on the ground right before contact, right before the punch occurs. Okay? Short blow. Nothing should be coming through with the shoulders. Okay? Again, looking from the side. Film from the side, you can see again, a little lean. We don't want that. More neck bridge. Okay, mechanically we want more. Now, nice job. See how the foot gets contact, the simultaneous. See how the foot hits the ground.
That's going to generate power as I go on a kick slide technique. Okay, now, it's kind of interesting. Punch described it a lot better than I ever. All we're doing here, what do you call it, center line? That's what we're really trying to do is a center line drill. And you know, all this stuff we got from Mac in terms of leaning his shoulder and punching here as you come, but you just put a shoulder on here, and all you do is give like a half spin where you work in any move you want to. You can rip, you can slip, you can punch, you can go arm over, and you'll be amazed at how out of balance, out of kilter the body will get and how they'll cross over. And the point of working through the placement of what the defender gives, that you don't lose track of your ass or body mechanics with your feet. So really all this is, and it's a shoulder. We start with a shoulder, and then all bets are off. We'll go 5-8 seconds at a time. You can go longer if you want to. And he's just working to any sort of a counter move. We're really talking about the position when you've already made contact from the initial punch and how I'm working the mirror, and also my hands, the repositioning of my hands on contact with the defender. Okay? So you see there how we break. How we would break, let's say when he rips them off. We try and keep pressure with our hands. I would like right here, I would describe the hands of this kid named Wiley. Loose. See the hands are kind of leaning on there. We want more upper body strength. We got what we have, especially the center guard. We like to keep contact with the defender. Okay? Inside, we don't think you can necessarily punch him and retract him, recoil his ass off your body. He's going to be in tight quarters right on top of you. We want to play much more physical with the hands. Now, once I do that, remember those arms are like shock absorbers. Or the other way to describe it is, everybody play that slap game? You do the slap and the slap. What you do is you feel a little bit of pressure from the top hand is what you're doing, and it gives you a little sequencing. That ability, when he breaks the hands, I'm trying to keep it strong. Now he breaks the arm, boom, I'm going to replace. I go to plan B right away, which is a secondary move, which is the replacement of the hand contact. And then I want to replace them strong. I don't want to feel my way. I want to regather strength on contact. Okay, and again, all there are ways of hand replacement drills. Keep what you have. Okay, he should pull that arm out a lot faster. And again, there's a real tendency, and Touch was talking about it, the wax on, wax off motion here. The first time you take a lot of young guys, they're all doing this. What you really want to do is everything short, elbow in, and reset. Short, elbow in, and reset. Anything that works my arms wide and circle is creating more strength for him and less power. I can't snap my elbows back in. I can't get my hands into a prone position. So anything that forces him to rejam and reset on contact is going to be good for us. That's what we're looking for. Okay, you can see here, see how loose the arm's way too far bent. And a lot of these are, hey, just learn as you feel. So you see where the head's coming forward, he moves, and also we should be having a target on the defender. We should be seeing what we're hitting. Okay? Okay, now, pressure the hands, pressure, better. Now again, we keep that left arm as long as we can. When he rips, I want to reset. And again, it's based on the angles. We would try and jam in the offside rib cage based on how far he gets across. Okay, but we're working again the placement of the hands. You can see even here, see what happens? As he pushes and leans, his shoulders are leaning forward. See what's going to happen there? He's got a little overextension effect. So he's got to work hard mechanically to keep his shoulders back, head back, like right there. That's better. And again, begins and ends for us in the lower body. Okay, these are kick slide drills. Okay, again, way too long. See the second step? A lot of this begins in, we talked the first step, and there's about the right step. It's about a 3 to 4 inch step. The second step becomes the most critical to us. Or it could be after 2 good ones, the third step is good, and then they panic because they have a feeling of, oh shit, I'm not fast enough, he's going to beat me around the edge, and I overstride. That one, we try and coach back. The other thing, when you talk about weight distribution inside, this is a great example of why you don't want it. You can see his weight. All you got to do is stand on one foot and go, wait a minute, now he should be this way. So what you want to do is, back to that shot put, reaching effect. See where my foot's reaching out, not tilting my weight. Okay, and you're talking about, here's a kid that Lincoln started several years in the league now. So this isn't like it's a never been done before type deal. Okay, weight outside, and again, length of stride way too long. So you can see I got work way too long. The feet are almost clicking heels. Just to see it right there, wow, way too much. You're going to get swatted past. Okay, and begins. Head's got to stay back. Shorten your stride length. Okay, it's a little better, right? It's a little better. His weight distribution is better. And again, how fast he can come to this vertical position, this upright position, is essential. Still even there, the heel clicks less, the head's more back. It's not as long as last time. You can see this was in the same period. This is the next rep after the last one. This is a little bit better, but it's a long ways to go. Anything that forces us longer than about 4 to 6 inch steps, we're too long. We're going to get thrown past. Okay, a little bit better action. The elbow should be in, knee should be in. We want nothing that has bow-leggedness. When the guy recreates the bowl, if my knees point out or my elbows go out, I'll end up rocking on my heels. I'll have a real problem keeping the weight on the balls of my feet. Okay, again, weight on that. You can see it's almost pulled on the heels. I want more weight on the inside of the leg as you do this. Okay, it's a little bit better. And again, don't lead with the knee. See where the knee leads out and want the knee pressing in. Okay, this is the one I was talking about. This is a cone. Let me see if no. There it is. Okay, now what this is like a beginning of a miracle. You can do this just with a hand as a spring. You can see, because of the weight lean, everything we talked about, the weight outside the leaning, not good. See how long the change of direction. See, it'll be way too long. Weight's way outside. Somebody's asked me earlier about the late games, what happens. We'll allow way too much penetration. See that change of direction? Woo, not good. Way too many stutter steps. Got to pull this weight way back inside. Okay, a little better there. See the direction again? This is the next rep. So again, we're all having the same damn problems, or a bunch of things to correct body weight, the rhythm of the feet, then the elbows in, plant. See that action? Plant, and then there's the power step. That was much smoother, much improved. Okay, and again, all these to me they're like forms of mirror drill. You're just giving the hand weight as you go. Wait, see it? Wait. Now watch this. As subtle as this. See where the weight kind of roll on his heel. See it right there in the inside heel? You're in trouble. You are in major trouble because you're going to get bowled or thrown because of losing power. The weight distribution has got to be on the balls of the feet the whole time. Okay, now we do it with the defender. So now what we do is we take a defender, all right? We take a defender, and we're doing basically a 45-degree mirror drill, or one shot shoot your wide mirror drill. And as you come, he's got 3 options. He's going to run, sprint you to the cone. He's going to give you one move underneath right now. Right now, underneath, or we can give a little hesitation and shoot your wide once. Okay, again, you can see the little drifting action. See it? He's bringing his shoulders right now. His shoulders are moving too far outside, and the action with the inside leg is the chattering. The foot should never do a double bouncer. See how the one foot's going zzz, right foot? You should always see a step, kick slide, step back, power step. And that's what that little chattering effect is just enough in our thing that he's going to beat us. The position of hands, the position of body mechanics. Okay, better. See it? Position, hands, extend. I'd like to get more jam. You can see as they think about the mechanics of the feet, better position. And the weight, see even here, you just watch his foot. He's got a little tendency to do what? See a little bouncing on that foot? It's got a little rocking effect there. Okay, chattering. You want that foot more stationary. I want to settle on the ground, avoiding extraneous motion. Don't move it when you don't have to. Here he's got what he had. Sell your feet, what's it going to make it? Functionally stronger. When you have what you want to maintain your leverage, lock them out, and bind, maintain position. When he forces you to move, I'm going to move as fast as he forces me to move. Okay, now watch this. There's a little bit, what I call it's an Arthur Murray dance studio. See, he's dancing Lincoln's dancing. And what you got to do is maintain your leverage. What you want to do is get a small target. You don't want to get your eyes big, you want to get them small. You want to get them off your shoulders and your head. You want to pull everything back to your target. And if he's in the tight enough quarters, you dance your own dance. You do your own cha-cha. He does the rumba, you do the cha-cha. So when he does a little shake, smack him. You can break his rhythm right there in tight enough quarters. I'd like to get a punch, break his rhythm, and now a lot of times that accompanies a stunt. And we'll give off ground. Now you got to feel based on what else happens around you. If he's not, I'll stop. Let him shake off air. But what he's doing is the beginnings of he's doing the cha-cha with the cha-cha, see? And what it does is it's going to cause you to get overextended or out of control. So you want everything's fighting for your balance. Okay, there's a little drift. See a little drift right there? A little shadow, a little drift. It's got to be a lot faster. You've got to see the target right now. Okay, shoulders back. Again, now this is the kid just running the corner. Okay, and you can see the weight's tilted out. Okay, let's see if there's any more. Okay. Somebody want to light me, please? Light me. Thank you. Okay, now, from that standpoint, I'm going to kind of jump gears a little bit, and that gives you at least the beginnings of the semblance of our drill work. Beginnings of our semblance of our drill work. When you see, I'm going to finish up with some nickel pass protections. Hopefully you see mechanically some things that are being talked about in these drills. But if you take it in our opinion of the four basic areas, which involves the setup, okay, the punch, the mirror, the actual physical jam, and the punch now could be 15 hand whacks. If any time you're knocking the shit out of them with your hands. Okay, the mirroring effect with your feet, how you maintain a mirror action with your feet and recoverability, and then the final action is a recovering aspect. And then they're taken into protection schemes. Like I said, we're going to finish up with some nickel pass pros and give you an idea of where we go in terms of our basic, so nickel structure and how you block. Now, in between, to kind of change directions a little bit, we're about halfway through the midway point now. What I'd like to do is I'm going into some nickel runs. And I'm not going to over-technique them at this time. I'm just going to give you a feeling of what we do and give you some exposure to how we block them and some of the angles that are trying to create them. And what begins, and I've had a reasonable amount of doing some of these three wides. We're all doing this league, obviously, but when I was down to Landon to run and shoot, it was down to we were a four wide set, obviously. And you're dealing a number count. Everybody here's John Madden, in the box, 6 in the box, 5 in the box, 7 in the box, 8 in the box. You're counting ratios. And defensive guys, unfortunately, are as smart than we are. And so they're always dicking with us in terms of the number count where that extra guy comes in. It really has to do with how many you got to block and how many defenders there are against me and how I'm going to pull those guys out. And then they're going to try and overload you, usually with one more guy than you have. So again, we'll have draws. This happens to be a 3 wide receiver runs that we have, okay? But you take something as simple as a draw. When we did a 4 wide draw, we had 5 in the box, and the 2 tackles had to flash the DN, the man on them, to the extra man if they ever came down to a 7-man box. And we had rules to pry a seam in the run, but the key thing is we had to lock out whatever number ratio we had in relationship with what they had. Now we could use a little pissant, a little quick guy, a little zombie kid, a little corner guy, moving back and forth, munchkin, as he comes and block that extra guy as we wanted to. Now this happens to be a 3 wide receiver draw, so all we're doing, the paint over here, all we're doing is adding 1 number ratio. We're going to 6-man draw, okay? When you went to 2 backs, we taught them all the same. All we did is have a 2-back, and we just added 1 more guy and had to block the wolf backer, and the weak side tackle just stayed man on the DN, and we had a 7-man draw. But my point is the techniques of how we're blocking them are the same, okay? The same. We weren't big into a million different plays, okay? We tried to get good at a basic draw. What you'll see here is a stretch play. We run the stretch play out of 3 wide receivers, and I think Howard's talking on the outside zone, and really it's the same play. It's the outside zone, okay, out of 3 wides, and we had the ability. One thing with both of these, the paint is a single back draw is what the paint is. It's a draw, run over the first covered lineman is what it is. And we had the ability on both of these to run them strong and weak. So we weren't necessarily tied into a tight end. We could run them open side, we could run them tight side. Now we're trying, one of the things film study wise you're trying to do is to see the positioning when they're overloading you, the number of times they got the extra defender in the box. And then you're short in terms of the number count. But if you could ever give us what we consider as a 2-man ratio over here, see the end of the mic? Or like on a 4-3 type front, you had a T, E, and a middle backer.
A lot of times we prefer to go weak. We want to go weak, shoot the ball out the open side, get the ball into space. Why even involve the tight end and blocking one more guy? The problem is, those damn guys in defense are smart enough when they have angles, they put 3 guys over wide from your guard outside, your outside stretch play is eliminated. Okay, over here, that third guy. Okay, I'm talking about running the stretch, for example. If you're running the paint open side and you got an extra guy, a will backer, or somebody that's sitting in here on a defense. Okay, or something, let's say we call like the Dallas defense as a will and nose and a Mike back. Well, there's 3, but that 4th guy is at a tough angle for this backside slip block by the guard and tackle. So given that, we say, hey, we got bad angles. So it's based upon angles, but when we could, we would game plan, GP, the open side runs on the draw. Okay, now, moving to the draw, what you're going to see is when we run it to the tight end, actually both ways. But what we try to do to the tight end is we try to release him on a number count for the sandbacker. We want to create as much error as we could on the draws. Okay, now on the draws, what the lineman did is slightly play side. If you really what you want to do is you want to block your draw like your pass. You're trying to block him, buy him in his chest, and go jump and near step. You want to do the same thing in the draw. The problem, let's say this is as simple as draw right. Draw right, the guy is in a 3 technique, he's in an outside shade. I would want to step near foot. The tendency that linemen have a lot of times is wheeling my ass in the hole. Now my question is, would we want to do that? Would we do that in the pass pro? Hell no, we wouldn't do that. How would you block him in the pass? He'd be outside, I would set to widen, and he would work on the angle here. If he played bull, I had to make something happen now. Now all bets are off. I'm going to jam him in the throat, and what I can't do is will my ass to run around my seam. I've got to do all the things that we talked about in terms of punching, strong, physical, hold my leverage, and do something with him walking into my chest and accelerating my feet. If when I set to a 3 technique, he widens with him, how would I pass block him? If he widened, I kick 2 more. What do you want to do on the draw? Same thing. I'm trying to get a stretching effect to open up the front side of the running lane to let the back run vertically downhill. Let him run right down through the seam, right the ass, right downhill, north-south. Okay, now, moving on. What the backside does is scoot. They come in here, we're just running a little draw right, draw left action. So what the linemen are doing is sliding. Now, what you want to be careful of is they like the feeling of push, of chew mashing those guys and just double team and knocking the crap out. So the problem is a lot of times we're running this in nickel situations, and what they'll do if I pass set, like if we're slide protection, I'm coming heavy down the nose, this guy's going to roll out of there. Like Hank Thomas, great nose guard, he's in Detroit, was with us. If you hit double team, he plays pull up. We don't want him to do that. This is a draw. We're trying to get him to recreate the rush lanes. So what we do is we set, just like we have a protection called low, which is tight end blocks in the center guard area, block the nose to the Mike backer. And then if Hank would spin or move, well now what we're doing, those shock absorbers, how we ran in the past, same thing in the run. I've got shock absorbers, and I'm just feeling your mechanics to flip them whichever way I'm going. And again, what you had to know was front side or back side. If you're backside, you had to scoot. You had to slide over a little bit more, because what the back's really doing, just like any off-tackle run, he's trying to press the front side defender, get up right into his ass, right behind him, bring the linebackers over the top, run where you want, which is usually cutback. Most runs are cutback. Okay, and the backside tackle the backside tackle had to be alert for number 7. So a lot of times we'd have a throw and go. That's a run and shoot drop. What you did is you flash that D end, you went vertical up for that guy. We'll hold off 6. We're trying to formation that 7th guy out of there based on what he does. But the tackle was accountable for number 7. Okay. Some discussions, formations. If the team played more, like I said, strong safety over, would be more inclined to go weak side. If they would get in a position where there's 3 wides, you have the 2 receivers straight and strong, and this guy was messing around in here, we felt to a position where you could walk in the box, we might be a little more inclined to go weak. If there's any mix or question, we had a tendency to stay to the tight end. We might even motion the receiver to block on the strong safety. Okay, the other thing interesting is draws. Generally, zone off stunts. One thing pretty interesting, the run and shoot I picked up was
when you can, you man them. It's interesting. The tough stunt and draws is the TE, man. That's the one that's a bitch. I mean, the guy's coming right in this gap, and then in particular, if you're trying to area that, you get a lot of crap. You're trying to pass it off, and there's penetration, and the ball carrier hesitates, and it's kind of hard to figure out your angle to get through. Okay, now, what we did was we created a man call here on the width of the DN. If we're playing Charles Haley, and I know the linemen prefer this, they'd rather jump that tackle right now, take them on. And again, I can't torque my butt in, but not have to worry about zoning off the TE. Then what the tackle did is you got these young tackles, and usually what happens, we're flat on our pass set. We're flat. The guy's getting our edge, he's beating us on the corner. Well, we wanted that same type of set on the draw because we wanted to invite them upfield and build the shoulder. So the key thing was the width of the DN. If the DN was outside the framework of the defender enough, and a lot of times it was open side, but it could be right over here. If we used the call when we released the tight end inside, then what the tackle did, they made a man call, form of a man. The tackle was short set jump, build the shoulder, and what that let the guard do on the T, it let him again. He's got a set just like pass. I can't whip my ass and return my shoulders. Otherwise, you're going to say, boy, that was a dumb idea. I tried that and it didn't work. It looked awful. Because the guy's going to run in the back. I'm assuming he's going weak. So I set over. I've got to flatten him just like I'm kick step in the slide. I got to distort him out of my angle, and then I'm going to build the shoulder. And what the back can do is go right down the pipe. See where he's going? He's going right up the chute. We don't want anything going lateral. The other thing we try and do on stunts is run away from the looper. What the two linemen will do is when they slide, there's penetration. The onside guy, if my guy loops away, whichever direction it is, he's going to build a shoulder into the penetrator, double team the penetrator, and based on whether we're going to the call or not, get on the looper late, but build the ball going right down the chute. Okay, any questions on that? Let's take a look at some of the film. Okay, now, you might wonder, well, how do we block this? What we do, it's interesting, you got all these nickel looks nowadays, and different looks they do. The easiest way to describe what we do is we go to the mic, but also we use a number count. That's all we're really doing here. So as you see us blocking these things, and we give basic names to the fronts in terms of a nickel under, nickel over. Well, really what we're doing is we're counting numbers. We're counting numbers of who we're blocking. So here, quite simply, the center is going, he is going to this man right here. He's calling Mike 52, and these guys, there's the 0 man 1, and they're in fan position to the backside. Okay, now what we're trying to do is stay patient on the down. We don't want to vacate this guy. We want to create the seam, and we really want to build the shoulder. This is one of the few plays, if I can build the shoulder more and turn my ass, we let them turn their ass on a draw. We try and use a high arm technique. Now you can see this is like a poor set. See where Stussy, the kid from Cal, gets overextended. His feet are chattering. See it right there? But again, the effect is good. That's why you tell them if you got a guy that's out of bounds, hey, you just block like you normally do a little bit, get yourself overextended. You have really the principle of what we're trying to do. We're trying to lock it out. Like here would be an example on the back side, when in doubt, we'll zone. And I don't want to overdo. Usually the stunt that will man more is the TE stunt, with the 3 technique and the wide end. A lot of times, anytime there's a wide 3, T noses, always zone these stunts. So again, this would be a decision there. To try to man is a poor decision. We should try and area this off. Okay, the back does a good job of pressing the hole. Okay, yeah, you'll see him strong or weak. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're inclined. On number count, the center always splits. He splits with the to the tight end side. So if you got 3 over here, he goes to Hardy Nickerson, kid at Tampa Bay. Okay, he's going over, and the center and guard start off with a zone technique, like on a pass slide, where we're trying to pry the T out of here, or again, get him into a pass stunt, and it should look like the beginning of slide protection. Now sometimes, again, you'll see him a little flat. One of the reasons he's trying to pry open the seam. He doesn't want to come too back. If he shoots too loose, like pass, then what happens is this guy gets a running jump, and he gets right in the A-gap. The linemen are going, here's an example of a zone call right here. Okay, a lot of it is how wide the 3 technique. When he starts coming over here, the key thing is, can the tackle get through to number 2? If he can't, we'd rather do the conservative thing, which is zone. We want to shut him off. It's a good job by the tackle. Doesn't turn his ass. How would you pass that if the guy comes inside? Power step. See it? And we'd like not to flap that foot, but we flatten him. We don't just wheel our ass in and out. Now, he can't just knock him down with penetration. Our guard wouldn't get off this guy. The guard's patient, and they're actually running a delayed E-nose. So the nice job left guard, all-pro player around with Daniel, he just pauses, doesn't do anything too suddenly. Now you want to build a shoulder upfield. Nice job. See where the center goes. Up the field, building a shoulder and building a wall. We don't want to take anybody on vertical here. Okay, again, we'll study the film. Like here's a team, they probably play a lot more over nickel, or they also play more stunts. A lot of times we study the direction of the stunts. We love to put them on the backside. It's a good example of the stunt. What we want to do is lock the penetrator out on the backside. We'll actually let him go. I would rather have the left guard, the right guard, and pass. Same thing. If the guard was here blocking, we want a quicker contact. Same thing on the drops. He should hit him sooner here. Way too late. Okay, now the guard builds a shoulder. All he wants to do is build a shoulder. Tackle, build a shoulder. Okay, we have confusion. Bad word. This would be on Wild's misassignment tape right here. Communication-wise. We're trying to get him through. Usually, based on his alignment, this is one, we would zone. We would zone in here. Sometimes this kid had a tendency just to kind of create the call himself here. But to me, that was normally a zone call. The guy had to have access on the man. Okay, now, fan again. How do you figure out where it is? If we're going weak, these two got these two, and the center's got a nose call. He's on the mic, and these three got the 3 backside guy. Here's an example of man at creating space. See it? Wheel, man. They jump them. So we intertwine, basically thinking zone. Here's a little scoot action in the center. The only problem is he can't lose his axe. Same thing on the pass. So he's got to anchor down a little sooner. What we're trying to do is to pry the seam open, create direction, and build a shoulder. Build the shoulder, build the shoulder. High arm man, kid who plays vertical. That's a great running back kid for Redskins, Terry Allen. Okay? Okay, now this is a great look here. This is a draw to the tight end. And again, we game plan this. One reason we go to tight end probably is because this team did this. They would lurk down that offside safety into a 7-man box. So if we were in a position like that, then we'd be a little more tight end inclined. Okay? And in general, if there's any gray, then we would be tight end inclined because we'd have more security by the position of him. Here's an easy toe call, tight end release, tackle on the end. Build the shoulder. Okay, now the guy I do not like is the right guard. The right guard, remember what I said before, he should be setting to the play side. Okay, see the width of the position? I would balance up. If anything, I want to favor slightly outside. What does that do? That creates a stretching effect. Okay, now the center one wants to work a little more play side. The problem is that penetration there prevents the center from whacking off the T-nose. If he hit him where he should, which is then flat him at the line, he's way too late. It would be late in pass, it's late in draw. It's all coach the same. And what the center would do is work these 3, block the triangle in here. He would knock off the penetrator, let the looper go, let Randall go up to the backer, and Terry Allen sets the guard and cuts the ball back. Now, you know what? We do the same thing if we go weak. If they run weak, we're going to run opposite the looper. So he comes, whack the shit out of that guy. The center sees the penetrator, he turns and doubles out. We let the looper go, build the shoulder. We're trying to set the guy that does a great job is the back, because this is tough to read here. You're going to have an all-pro back that gains about 1,400 yards to get this out. The center and left guard, given what they had, this looseness, did a nice job. And there's building a shoulder. We would like this tackle alert to do this. See it? The position, though, we will give up going on 7 if this guy plays hardball. If he plays bull technique or into me, we'll give up on 7. Back you're on your own. You'll get it. If he goes a pass rush technique, we'll flip him by the hole, and then we'll work up to number 7. Again, the back, this is a great back, man. Patience in the hole, that's why he gains about 1,500 yards and goes to Pro Bowls every year. Running about 4.7, great player. Okay, again, now, pour by the right guard. See the hopping effect. There's the man. See the man right there created by the right tackle. Try and avoid stunts. We'd rather man this in here. Build the shoulder. Don't scoot your ass in the hole. We'd rather attack the shoulder right now like the center is doing better. Okay, again, pry them out. See what they do. They pop and they go. If they get momentum, all they're doing is using the inside shock absorber, and when they feel the shock absorber, they're going to accelerate their arm and wheel my ass in the hole. And there's a tackle working on the cut technique. Again, you can see all we're trying to do is keep it vertical. Okay, this is moving ahead. I'll just stay with this line of trend right here because I want, like I said, I want to get through this, and then as well as some of the pass plays, finish on the pass play with my time allotted. Is this all we're doing is running stretch play, outside zone? That's it. How complicated? When you hear Howard, you're going to hear, it might be different feet, some of those things. We're going. Pardon? Oh, excuse me. Beck's on the outside zone. We're teaching the bucket step. We're going to the outside. We're going to the outside armpit, stretching the defense. Well, why are we going weak? We're going weak because this is a team that we thought would give us a two-man to the open side rule. All they're doing is go a 4-3 front. Beautiful. Let's go and let's shoot it out the open side. Why pry it into one more blocker? We'd rather do this. Now, the more they screw around the open side, the less likely. Now we're outnumbered. See the problem that you're going to have? You could motion the guy over. You got to formation him out of there. A lot of times you can do a check with me. You can go check with me. All those things. Beautiful. Let's go open side. Part of it involves line stunts in nickel. When you're talking about the nickel, you're talking about line stunts, and you got to figure your outside zone on the flat stunt should handle some of this. Okay, now, we do a technique here based on how wide he gets. We'll let the center jump through if he's wide enough. We're using a Zorro technique between two adjacent linemen. Okay, so if they're stunning, that's back like Wiles was saying. All we're doing is we're just running the zone. I prefer Stews to keep coming. We call it footsteps in the sand. Give a quick punch, shoulder square. It's the same technique that Wiles was talking before on that inside hand where you kind of come under control. Obviously, this is happening during play. I'm going to punch him with my inside shoulder, and because we're not certain, we want to track block through the play, through the direction of the alignment of the defender, not necessarily wheel around. Okay? And again, all we're doing is we're running stretched weak side. Okay? We do not want to turn our ass. Okay, now it's happened a lot, and I know in our thing, there's so many stunts in here, in this gap, and A gap. I don't care if this happens to be nickel. These are nickel fronts, guys. We're playing here. We're blocking regular runs versus nickel fronts, and we're getting the number ratio down based on what they're giving us. Okay, we got to take a little bit of what they do. Well, they stun in here. I think, Wiles, you said the Philly call, right? Come up. Same thing. We call it zone. We're going to three-man. We're going to be quicker on the outside zone to use a three-man zone technique to bring the man over. When are we going to do it? Pinch and team. They're going to pinch and they're going to pick our center off here. This is another change-up we use. See it? Because of Ryan Young, we have a problem getting our center off on this. Even if we do this, this kid is so daggone strong and quick, explosive with his hands, we just use a normal scoop technique in here, shed that back, or Norton ran free against us all day long. So we'll vary this, how we'll come around on our outside stretch zone plays, including if there's any width, we'll call the tackle down, we'll bring him around. All we're doing is trying to create angles and take away some of the things that the defense gives us and not give us a dead play. We don't ever want to be on the sideline watching the defense and say, before the play, they break the huddle, we see them line and say, oh, hell, they got our ass now. We'd rather have the ability to get our players in the best position and have fewer plays but execute them better. Okay, this is our basic zone technique here. So now you're talking about the technique. We'd rather see the helmet slightly more to the armpit. Okay, we want to drop step to lose ground to cover up the defender. We really want to be more patient with Stussy. See him come off the combo block strong too fast. The more he can walk it down and stay on the down, what it's going to do is bring the defender to him. The principle of play is the same as our regular open field run. That's it. The only thing we got to do is we give it a unique name to help the center. The way the defense, when you get in nickel looks, all they're doing is counting numbers in here. They're counting 3 strong, and the center is treating him as this is basically an over front. That's it. We do not teach anything different than our normal stretch running plays.
And the other thing that you have to look at for us is how much stunting they run when they stunt, and how it's going to affect some of these plays, the stretch play, either way. Okay, now again, we made this call. This is based upon the width of the 3 technique. We're trying to stretch in. We're trying to keep that square to the last scrimmage. You can see tightness on the position. There's a drop step. Okay, all we want to do is balance. We just pivot on the toe on a down block, and we buy the shoulder. We had the discussion last night in terms of, we were talking the down blocks, the angles. Most times, because we're going to stretch outside or we're going to run in the tackle tight end area, we want to maintain leverage. We just don't want to get knocked back. See this? Not good. We want to drive our feet after contact to keep the hole as wide as we can. This is a nice combination. And we will use shoulder blocks more on the back side in terms of our backside blockers. We'll use that. When he moves into more of a frontal position and it's more of an inside zone or power play, we will use 2-hand bench press like this player does. He actually is coaching the offensive line right now, Mike Tice. Okay, again, all this becomes is just blocking a regular zone play on a regular formation. If you have 2 backs in the backfield, they're just in a 3-4 front. Okay, we mixed in a cross block. A lot of times we prefer to combo here and leave him man-to-man on the position because the long way in the seam in here. All right? This player's too slow. He's got to cover around. There's what we call the fall step. There's a nice step. See that? That's our basic step in terms of taking a little slight tight drop step is all we're doing. And then we're running the track. The guard's got to maintain contact faster. The back stretches to the inside leg at the tight end, and then he runs the daylight. He runs where he feels. We start the guard pulling around the corner. He would always have an option when we pull to go through based on the tightness of Spillman, the linebacker. Okay, if he was tight, we could jump him. We could run through, like you'll see the center did the one time, and then also game by game we'll do that. We do that quite a bit into the offset Mike backer. Now they're playing these overshifted fronts, and the center get through with that 3 technique. A lot of times he'll have to use a little jump technique to run through right now. When in doubt, stay on the seam. When in doubt, keep coming around. Don't swing your ass. His aiming point should be for the near armpit hip area. The tackle, when he cross blocks, he goes to the outside number armpit, and he should right now square his body up sooner. Build the shoulder. Okay, again, this can be run strong or weak. We will do this a little bit of the pause. We don't want anything turning back. But based upon slow flow or the backside positioning of the linebacker, we will settle down at the line of scrimmage. We won't run through the seam a little too fast. And then what he really does, he kills an apple core. So what that player does, when we come on the backside defender, if I got a guy far enough removed, when I zone through, I use a lot more shoulder blocking on the backside here. Okay, if the guy's in a poor position, a lot of times on 8-man fronts, that wilt backer is like in an A-gap on the weak side guard. I got to go down. No, screw you. I got GMG. I got my job to do. Get my guy. You got to get your guy. You got a little scramble, cut his ass off. Okay, now what we'll do with the shoulder, if he's backside, we'll kind of hold the hole or hold the seam when he starts accelerating, and I've got to get to the play side number armpit. It's all about half placement, man. All about where the head is. Rather than chasing straight up and running around my ass, what I'll do is I'm going to peel the seam off. When I go up to the second level, I'm going to run this way. See where I'm going? I'm arcing away from the line of scrimmage. I'm not doing anything vertically, so I got to chase them inside outside. Okay? And again, it's a pretty nice combination by the tight end. It's good. See the angle? A little shorter second step. See that? He had a tendency to get head heavy. This is a great player, a kid named Chris Hinton. Played in a bunch of Pro Bowls. The tight end cannot turn his shoulder. So again, everything's taught is basically your basic stretch block. Hey, Wiles, you 10:25? I mean, we got till 20. When you want to shut off?
Well, you got about 20 minutes.
Good, perfect. Okay. All right, again, now you watch us, because our back, one way we described it is where our back's actually a little bit under control. He's never a heat-seeking missile when he comes off. He's trying to run the inside leg into the tight end, then go where you want to go. That's all we're doing, is go where you want to go. Okay? Now, the position of the guard is good. See the hat placement outside? He is, and I'll use this word, which is not good. See how high-toed he is? We prefer when we block to keep our feet
flat on the ground, it generates a little more power. When we get high toed, we end up swinging. He ends up pulling us. Okay, the tight end is poor. Tight end, you can see the mechanics of him trying to turn out is not good. Okay, we ran a little belly in here. This is a very complicated play. We took it off University of Michigan, ran the belly. You're running off the center. You can really run your inside zone play. We would have an inside zone, and then we ran it off the nose as well, kind of flip the nose. We're trying to give the nose a double read. Most of the time, we took it out here, guard tackle, and we're running off the defensive end here. As a change-up, we would run right off the nose because usually they run E-nose stunts to the open side. The two-man already plays heavy to A-gap. So all we're doing is we gave the center the ability to accelerate, flip them past the hole, and we're really trying to run into the double block. See it? We want to knock the crap out of the down. We want to hug the hip. This is a little bit too far of a crossover step. Okay, we like it a lot. Spread them down here. Now the problem is if they're playing a hard 7 or 8, you're in a number count. You could get whacked by an unblocked guy. If you ask me what happens if there's a fourth guy and this guy's tight, you better have a check with me. If you see it, I think we're playing at home. This happens to be the home team, so you can hear a little bit. Because the problem, if you go 3 wides in some of these red zone situations, you better be prepared to live and die with. You got an extra unblocked guy that's going to blow your crap up if they come under with a dog or blitz. But now what we're doing is running this little off tackle play. We want the right center square to the line. We want the guard to the meat of the man on the 4-2, and we're really trying to run it right back here off the center's ass. Okay? The last play, and then I'm going to use the remaining time. I want to get into some pass pros. And again, you'll have an overall working knowledge of this is the whole thing and what we're involved in. Really, it's to a large extent, it's a basic open field run, and it also involves your basic pass pro. We'll trap this. We'll trap it more in regular rundowns. We had a discussion last night about the center blocking back on the 3 technique and running to the bubble. We don't do that. We would normally check into the 3 technique to get the guard sneaking through. See the position here? So most of the time, we want an easier block back by the center so he doesn't have the extended long seam. And then a lot of times what we'll do is we give the son a little head fake here, a little head job to shoot the 3 technique through, and then the tackle runs through, and the weak side tackle's got number 2 to number 3. Okay? And that's all it is. It's a downhill run. It should not be J. You'll see Robert Smith had a little tendency to kind of blow it. We really don't want that. So again, let me just draw up what we have. Center blocks back. We check to the 3. The guard goes and blocks the weak side backer. Tackle blocks number 2. The guard runs a trap angle and he shuts off the linebacker inside. And we're trying to pry the seam. Okay, right there. Inside. Now the guard, when he hits, Randall's too high. He should actually go flatter because the worst thing that can happen to him is run through. Stu's is too wide. See where he goes vertical? The worst thing that can happen to these 2 guys is the guys that are prying the seam over is that movement. They've got to split the seam in and then build the shoulder back. Okay, and you can see the angle. We would want this, the back, not to make this little J block. We want him to run vertical, right up the official's butt. Okay, and this happens to be a regular front, but it gives you a good idea. There's a tackle sifting the number 2, and there's a tackle Stussy going tight inside. Again, all these, it gets blown up if it's an inside pitch. The more they pitch, it's a lot harder to teach you over the top. We'd be less inclined to run it if you did a lot of those things. Okay? What I want to do now is somebody give me the light, please. What I want to do is go back on. Now again, we've got about probably 18 minutes right now, and I want to go back through some basic pass pros. And again, if you just noticed when I talked about the runs, I think the point I made was the stretch. However, the techniques can be different. What they do could be different, but the basic stretch play is taken from a regular runs, so it has a carryover. Your draw, we can go into 2 back formation. It's taken from a regular run. You just got to teach your linemen a basic number count. Okay, and we have the ability, you got to teach an open side principle to your stretch play. That's what you got to add because you got a shorter corner. And then you got to be smart how you game plan formation to get that out of there. Okay, and the runs, not very complicated, man. Okay, the 3 or 4 basic runs, we'll carry those in the open field with a regular run principle. They carry over. Much different than nickel, no. You got to teach more stunts. You got to handle a little more pitching in the A-gaps. Protections, same thing. Same thing. Let's not overcomplicate it. Okay, and I'm going to go as simple as this. We go, and time permitting, I'll show you a little bit of looks. What we like is mixing the use of the tight end in protection. We want to slide as much as we can. Anytime we get a chance to slide it, we're going to reuse 4 over 3. We're going to use, that's from an over defense. And weak side guard over, we're working half a man. Okay, if we got like an even 4-2 nickel look, center guard tackle, TE and the mic, 3 over 2, we're going to push the protection to the side that we want to go. A lot of times it's based upon matchups. Who is on defense, who we got to stop. Our whole game now is the NBA. How are you going to trap a double team the best guy? That's what we got to figure out coaching wise. If I was around the passing coordinator that would let us check to the over 3 technique most of the time, or a certain type of rusher, we do that. We do that. A lot of it is limiting because you also got to involve your hots, your side adjusts, the basic principle of your protections, of your hot reads, your outside passing game. What we will do in the first 2 examples, what you have is a strong slide. It's a strong slide. We're trying to slide it strong. The back has some form of 2 on the back side, which means in nickel, you got to break a little bit of your principle, and you're going to have some breaks usually on 2 to a side. I'm talking about the 2 coverage guys. Inside guy, outside guy, 2 guys to the weak side can create some problems here. Every protection can, if you have some problems, they can break it down if that's all you do. That's why what we would do is we would study the tendencies of the defense. How much 4 to a side, I'm talking about 2 coverage guys, it doesn't matter who they are in nickel, to the same side. See what I'm saying? 4 guys here, 4 guys here, 2 guys inside. How much A-gap blitzing they do, double A's. We get ratios, and then that would base our protection. How much we got to mix protections that shut off the A-gaps, and then how much we got to get protections that handle 4 to a side. Okay? Now, given that, scat and slide are 6-man protections. And all we're doing is changing the back goes strong. Scat, the back goes weak, handles 2, and the line slides. It's the old word for scat actually was a dual read protection. Dual read. Mike to Sam. Mike to Sam. If we have teams that we had a pure 3-4 front, which is getting lesser and lesser, we convert that to dual read. So it's a little bit of what I call man for all seasons. It's kind of change based upon what the defense does. It converts. It converts to take away what they do. And the principle is strong side. Okay, now going the other way. If we want to slide, bring the back to the tight end. See the release? These are both 6-man protections. 6-man. Now the back picks up the hot read strong. And again, the line, if there's 2 guys on the weak side, the center over, they'll slide. And one of the advantages slide gave us that scat did, it let us block the slot, blitz, and nickel. You need some mechanism on fronts where they bring the guys off the edges, you block them, and you can make the play downfield. Scat to us didn't. Scat basically blocked 5 in the box. It blocked the interior rushers. So when you brought a slot, we were in a position of hiding. So we would actually really slide as weak side. You could go both ways first. You go weak side, strong side. You can slide either way. And again, what it gave you is when they brought the slot, then the linemen were counting all the way outside to the nickel slot defender. When we said scat, we were hotting off 1. But the key thing, I said the magic word, which is hot. They could force us on 6-man protections to break a route to come off of what we do, which we never want the defense to be able to dictate what they do to us. We want to keep them based off balance, and a lot of that has to do with down and distance. As specific as 3rd and 2 to 4, they might dog and blitz. We'd be in more 7-man protections. 3rd and 6 plus, they might play more zone or loose coverage or combination. And we might go more scat and slide protections in here. See where we're heading? It's all based on what they do as specific by down and distance in the whole 3rd down drill as well. Okay, then you move into low, and I'm not sure, I'll try and give you a couple clips of each. We're down, cutting it short right now. Tight end block. We like to mix a tight end in there. Also gives you 7-man. What it did is they're messing around. If all you are is scat and slide, what we got a lot was we got double A gap dogs. They were dogging. and we have a call if you invade the A gap in here where the guard away from the center slide has to respond. He's got to respond and hit the A gap. Oh boy, you're involved in the guards. And they can mess around with these. They can mug the backer and some of these things inside. So if they were doing that, we would mix in more tight end protections. And then the back is looking to the slot blitz, and that will give us a 7-man protection. And a lot of times what this tight end protection will let us do is, based on where the slot is, then those 3 linemen in the back will block 4 to a side. It's our way of blocking 4 to a side is getting into forms of tight end protection with the back going weak with the line slide into them. Or the other way, just like slide, we would have the ability to bring the back to the side of the tight end. Let's say we have 3 receivers over this way and block 4 to a side to the side of the slot blitz. So that became important. Ways to block 4 men to a side, weak or strong. Real important to us. Mixing the tight end protection, that was another way. If we're blocking Reggie White, we didn't really want the tight end blocking the D end. What we did with the tight end protection, we had the guard tackle step down, knock the piss out of the 3 technique, come on down and whack him, and then once that guy dropped off in coverage, we were always getting our double teams on the defenders. But we just didn't want our one tackle coming here, even on slide. He hits, he gets clubbed. Next guy comes, he gets clubbed. We'd rather mix in. Every now and then, he didn't know if the tight end wasn't going to whack him as well as he came off the line of scrimmage. Okay? Gives you a little bit of a general idea. I know I'm going awful quick with the time. All I want you to do is get a little sequence in of how we split it down between 6 and 7-man protections. We would slide over when we could, and then we would balance that off with a tight end and back, weak or strong, to block 4 from the side. And the way we counted this was as simple as we counted linebackers, Will, Mike, and Sam inside, and then the other 4 safeties, you got to declare the 4 DBs behind as the coverage people. So it became important, and again, that's involved in formation, but let's take a look at some of these shots and give you a little feel. Can I get the lights? Okay, this starts off as this is scat. This is a strong side slide. Okay, it's run to the tight end. And some of these, I think you start off with some blitzes early. Okay, now the problem is, and I'm going to show you there's problems in every protection you have, but that's all we do. Okay, now we're sliding the first coverage guy. The back has 1 to 2. When you go 6-man protections, you got to be hot on 2 to a side. If a team brought 1 to a side, 6-man protections, we like them, basically. We like them because now between the line going one way and the back picking up, we like them. Most teams go 6. They don't overload you with 4 to a side. The thing that's screwing us now are these daggone zone dogs everybody's doing because it's not that simple. That's for the whole game. That's a whole nother. Somebody else got to talk on that. That ain't me today. Okay, now, given that, as you're doing this, these A gaps, if they know you're a big slide team here, they're going to try and get in the position of responding. If this guy was closer, we would have our guard take him. Okay, you can see we got a break. I'm showing you the problems right here, right, man? So you got an unblocked guy, so you got to teach a hot read in there. You got to teach some sort of a break on this. Okay? Okay, now you can see here's our slide protection. Usually, and Stussy is not good here. He's turned way too much. See the bad angle? This, I think, is the rookie year. Pretty good by the guard. See where he sets outside half of the man, and we're trying to push the protection. We want this guard to set over, step inside, and jam him, but it gives you an idea how we pick up the inside blitz here. Okay, working the slide protection. Now, what we did, this is what we did, and everybody's got different rules, is what we did, we used what we call a single linebacker rule. And we looked right over the DN. We know how we block this as a 4-3 front, is what I'm saying to you. So rather than complicated, we just said that's the Mike. That's the center's man. The declaration of how you call the center box, who he goes to, is going to set your hot reads on 6-man protections. So if he's called the Mike, that means Amp Lee has got to block the will. There's some sort of a slot blitz by formation. It means the quarterback, he's protected weak. We're going to be hot strong. We're going to be hot off the 1 strong. Okay? Okay, and here it is. You got a break. There's a little bit out. We try and initiate contact on the stunt. We try and stay more vertical on the wide D gap defender. Okay, and again, you can see one of the problems is it can force you to break. That's one of the problems, how much 6-man. Now, for some reason, GP, we kept this alone. I just gave you a one linebacker rule. Some teams would just say stay strong, split with the back. And this team, the Bears in particular, were a lot, one on each side, or six-man blitzes. So we're staying with the slide strong here. Okay, this is a good example of, if we're playing 92, tremendous player, everything we did, we would figure out where's the double team help. If we're in the NBA, how are we trapping his ass? That he's not going to take us away. The line slides to him, the guard will work through the three technique, and the center sees running. This guard's got to cover him up, now haul ass, bump, and right now this guard's got to go, he's beat already, right? We got to get that second helmet right now. If we don't have double teams on the impact players, the marquee players, in general, by the protection or a back on them up or a tight end helmet, you're probably in major trouble. Now, two-back formation, we're still going hot strong. He's hot, he checks, and the center is going right in here. Once he checks his man, we want to hard push it to the three technique. Okay? Okay, due to time, I'm going to switch over to next protection. I want to show you this one. One thing interesting, I told you scat is a strong side protection. When we got the bubble, watch what the guard does. Dual read. Dual read. So if you're not in an over and even front, we just go back to regular rules. It's a dual read protection. See what I'm saying? We just dual read, the guard converts it right there. Goes back to regular rules. Okay? So again, how do you build? That's up to you. You know how you build a strong slide. Now, this is the slide protection. And what this gave us is the ability to block a slot blitz. There actually would be accountable for a third guy. Let me open up the screen. I'm not sure. We might have three receivers over. Okay. You don't have it here. We keep the slide on. What that also does to a corner, it doesn't matter. It lets us push the protection. We had a concern with Hank Thomas and Antonio London for a right tackle. So see the effect. This is a good job by the guards. Here he does. He's set to a half man. The key thing is everything you taught him in a one-on-one drill is off. All bets are off when you slide. I'm actually staying a half man. I don't want to punch him too soon. I want to play outside half the man. The key guy to me is the right guard. See where he works? Boom. Right in the seam. And the right tackle is bailing. See that foot coming off? Okay. Here's some slide protections on the slot blitz. Okay, and you're short. So you can see the problems created right here. They're bringing two to a side. We get lucky. Really, this guy should become a Scott ass free. But zone dogs, like I said, are creating a whole new problem. It's actually a regular front. See if I can get a slot blitz. Okay, now I switched here. What is, you know what? Let me run it back for make sure one, two of these. This is that low. This is a weak side blood protection. So now you got the tight end staying. See the 7-man protection? And if you got a 3, what we'll do is bank the 3, and we can double team Spellman, whoever the particular guy that we want to give help to. Okay? Now what the center did, the quarterback, they had the ability, see 4 to a side. How you identify in 3 wides your Sam, Mike, and Will is critical. That's the whole thing. So what we want to do, we don't want to just arbitrarily send the center weak. He counts numbers. Sam backer, DN, tackle Mike, tackle end. He goes, there's your middle linebacker. Here's 1, 2, 3. They just count them off. Let you handle 4 to a side. This happens to be a weak side. It should be the tight end. And then the end handles the slot blitz. See him over here? They zone, block. Okay, again, all they do is they count numbers. Here it is. Here, area zone technique. Man, back has the slot guy. He's got number 7. Let's just block 7. He whacks the piss out of him. See what he's doing? We want to whack him with our hands. We want to whack him, and then eventually he's going to work right back out and get the double team on the pass rusher outside. Another look. Getting the double team always to the tight end. We don't want to leave the tight end stranded. Now, we would use this protection on the impact players. This would be another way of getting our double team. Matchups, man. How are we going to stop Brian Young? He's always a number of a player that we said he can't dominate and impact us. So we would start area zone. See it? We would hang longer on a Brian Young. Double team, peek, and hold and clamp. We were trying to create as few number of one-on-ones of our guard on Brian Young. If we slid back to scat, we would get the double team with the center guard working over to him. It's a game of matchups. How do you take away your marquee rusher? Wish it was simple. If you block him, which it starts off to being, you do not let the marquee player dominate you. Now this is an under nickel, and all we're doing, how do you figure out how to block this? We just count them off. Okay, tight end tackle, how about you guys block those guys? How about, well, he looks like the six-man box, he goes over to that guy, then who's he have? The slot blitz. Okay? And again, what does it do? Help the protection, helps us to slide. This guard should never get beaten that big yet. He's really lacking on the seam. He should stay slightly behind. Lightning, please. Man, that's my time. I think I'm about up. It's been my great pleasure to be here. I've been, for a while, we kind of talked about doing this back and forth. And like I said, I have great feelings for every man in this room, because what you're going through and learning, that's, to me, what I'm all about. I mean, that's what we're all about. And as much as we can work together and learn from each other, I think the whole profession, we all get better together and grow. So again, my pleasure being here. I appreciate Bob in particular for inviting me and having me here. And thank you very much.